honestly, it's changed my life. Like, that sounds like such a huge statement, but it really, really has. Like, the experiences that I've had being a part of that board, I've gained so much knowledge about board governance.
Okay, awesome. Today, I'm talking to my friend, Nicole Mackoway. She's been licensed here since 2016, early 2016, and has always been with the REMAX organization. So we love her for that. And she is a huge advocate for our office, which is amazing. And we're going to talk specifically about cause marketing and giving back to the community and charities, and it's something that you're very passionate about. And so I wanted to give you this venue to share some of your insights and experience. Currently, and for some time, I think you've been involved with RCF. And so I was hoping that you could share some insights. What is RCF? What is your current role? And then we'll kind of pick your brain a little bit more about that. Sound good?
Sure. Yeah. Amazing. So
Awesome.
I can talk about Realtors Community Foundation all day, every day. Super funny to think back all the way to 2016 when I actually joined RCF in my first year of real estate.
Wow, great.
And I couldn't even remember what it was called half the time. So now it like flows off my tongue because I've been there 7 years, which is so crazy. But yes, I did actually jump on board when I signed the documents, signed on the dotted line to become a realtors community, to become a realtor, I should say. I signed to start donating for RCF. The same, they just flipped the page and I signed. And honestly, I mean, there's so many documents, you don't even know what you're signing. And I was like, sure, I'll give $20 a transaction. Sounds good. And I didn't even know what it was. But the person I was signing up on their team with had been a part of RCF for quite some time, had been a past president. And I was just like, that's what you do. Like, I honestly didn't really know what I was getting myself into. And I can even say, like, I didn't know the benefits. I didn't know really what they did. And I just got involved. But let me tell you, has it been impactful on my career? Yeah, I mean, I could talk all day about how much I love the Realtors Community Foundation now, and how much it's grown who I am as a person. Holy smokes. Like, honestly, it's changed my life. Like, that sounds like such a huge statement, but it really, really has. Like, the experiences that I've had being a part of that board, I've gained so much knowledge about board governance. And I would never have had that opportunity before. I never would have put myself in that role. I never would have even really, I don't think, believed in myself enough to do that, even at those early stages of being a realtor. There was so many, overwhelming acronyms and like things that adding RCF was just one more that I was like, who, what? But I've loved every minute, and have really, really fallen in love with the heart of realtors in Edmonton, because there are some incredibly altruistic, giving humans in this community that like literally give me goosebumps, because I see what they do. I get a front row seat of some of the most generous realtors in Edmonton, and really, I can't shout from the rooftops loud enough about the generosity of realtors. Like, and really, that is the goal of RCF, is to bring power in numbers. That was the originally, way back when in 1986, when a bunch of realtors got together and thought this was a great idea. It was about power in numbers and showing that realtors really do care about the communities that we serve. And it's really, really cool to be a part of. That was
So
a really
so let me ask you, and that's amazing. I love that. So let's do a quick synopsis. What does RCF do? Like, we have the dollars per deal, and obviously there's fundraising at events and things like that.
Yeah.
So there's many ways that people can donate.
Yeah.
What does RCF do?
So yeah, I kind of giggled at dollars for deals, because that's like going all the way back to the early days of RCF. Back there was our first executive director, Sharon Damry, called it that way back when, I believe, or maybe it was Jill Dito. We've had so many great people sit in this role, but we give kind of opportunity for realtors to donate in a few different formats. They can donate per transaction, which is really the easiest. Honestly, it's out of sight, out of mind. We have realtors that donate anywhere between $5, $10, $20, up to $100 a transaction. And can do as much as you want. And it is also so beneficial, like power numbers again. You can donate once, and like say you get a really great commission and you just like, I just want to give back, and you can do it that way, or you can put it on your credit card and get some credit card points and just have it happen once a month. A lot of people are liking that new option. That's kind of a more recent addition. And you can also just give back your time, because realtors really, I mean, we do on occasion have spare time.
Sure.
Different seasons of the year, we have a little more time than others. And those are great times to just put on, sometimes it's your work boots, sometimes it's an apron, and you're going out to these charities. And I can't, like, honestly, going to visit those charities is so impactful to you as a person, because I mean, I sat on the board for quite about a while before I actually had an opportunity to go visit one. And when you see them and see what they're doing, we're giving them like $5,000, $10,000, and you kind of think like, well, what can they do with that? They do so much with it.
Where does the
So
money go?
there's, within Edmonton, we have we give to local grassroots charities. So any organization within our communities that Edmonton, like Realtors Association of Edmonton members serve. So that can be wherever we are within the central Alberta area, I guess. That is sort of we kind of focus more on those smaller charities. Now, that's not exclusive. We definitely have some bigger charities, like we just gave $200,000 to Habitat for Humanity, which is our largest donation ever. Oh, is that where you got your black fingernail? Thank you. Good job. We
It didn't
got the
hurt,
opportunity.
and I can wield a hammer.
Well, it's super cool because we have the opportunity to have 160 volunteers go out to Habitat for Humanity over a year and swing a hammer. And actually build a building that's going to house our community members for a long time. And so it's not just one family with Habitat for Humanity. They actually have a buyback program, so it'll go on for forever. So yeah, we have these charities. There's, oh my gosh, I couldn't even start to list them all, but there's, Homes for Heroes. There's oh my gosh, for a long time we gave to Dogs with Wings, Terra Center, Pilgrim's Hospice, oh my goodness, Jessica Martell out in Mornville, Homes for, oh, what is that? Yeah, I don't know. There's so many. I could go on forever, but
So correct me if I'm wrong. Is it annually they take in applications and select a number of charities each year, and then that those
yeah,
funds are collected that year, divided out between those selected charities each year? Is that
close.
correct?
So yes, that is how historically we've given, but in the last few years, we've started changing things up a little bit,
Okay.
becoming a bit more, I think, more charity friendly, because giving once a year, what we kind of recognized was that the applications would come in, it would take some time for us to process them. By the time we were cutting the check, sometimes those programs were really specific to like a school year, for example, like a Lunches for Learning program. And they might be halfway through the school year before we're giving the money. So we've now started giving twice a year. So we do a spring funding allocation and a fall. And then we also have a program relatively new within the last 5 years, which is called flagship funding. So that's where a charity gets $20,000 for 3 years, $20,000 per year. So that's a super cool newer program, because they can kind of count on that money and really kind of structure their programming around it.
Obviously, if you're one of our agents and you want to up or start doing some dollars per deals, we'll attach the form here. We'll make sure that you can do that anytime, or just let any of the staff know and we can add that in. And if you're a real estate agent that not with our office, go ahead and ask your brokerage about doing that, or I think you can reach out to the board and they'll get you in the right direction. No problem.
Yeah, you can also go to the website, realtorscommunityfoundation.com. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
And so So I want to get some insights a little bit more personable about you.
Mhm.
Why do you get involved with any charity or any
If I look back at my time being involved in RCF, I really do say, and I say this fairly often, that I am a realtor because I was a part of RCF, which is crazy because which came first, the chicken or the egg? But like, obviously, I was a realtor before I got involved with RCF, but being a part of RCF in those early days, especially, really allowed me so much opportunity to network, first of all, meeting other agents, um, building relationships, really close relationships, because it's a very different dynamic that you're working with these realtors in an altruistic community building environment rather than knocking fists over a transaction. Not that we ever do that,
no?
but yeah, it's a really different dynamic, and it really has given me opportunities to serve my clients better, honestly, because like, for example, I just had one just in the last recent month where I looked back at the history of this house that my clients were really interested in. So lo and behold, as I'm looking through the history of the sale, there was actually a realtor who I had sat on the community foundation with who had bought and sold that house a couple of times. So, I know her quite well. So I phone her up and I'm like, hey, you know this house really well. What's the story? And it actually was her sister's house. So she really knew the house. So I got a great insight into the history of the home. And my clients were so impressed that I got all this insider information. And building those relationships is really, it came from the foundation and giving back. So I mean, obviously that's not the reason I would say that I do it, but it's one of the really great benefits of doing that. It's such a different format of networking than any of the other opportunities that we have within the city. We have Raycon coming up and we have these different opportunities, but it's just a bit different dynamic when you're sitting across a boardroom table and
Yeah.
picking up a shovel to help, your community.
Well, and how does it make you feel when you're able to help and support some of these charities?
Obviously, it's there's so many times I can think of where I've gone out to organizations and actually met the people who have boots on the ground that are literally doing the hard work in our community. I mean, it's easy for me to give money. It's out of sight, out of mind, like I said. But when you actually see what the impact of it is, it's really moving. It just makes you want to do more. I can think of a time I went out to Los Seca and they were they were cooking us lunch. And you're sitting beside these folks who live in these homes their whole lives. And Los Seca is all around the world. And you're having these conversations with them, and they're telling you, oh, I get to go on a holiday to Hawaii. Once a year, I can go anywhere I want. They can go anywhere in the world. There's a Los Seca. And they get to travel. And these are people with a lot of physical and mental challenges that may not otherwise have ever been able to have these kind of opportunities. So you think, man, my $20 is getting people a trip to Hawaii and another one that just blew my mind. A couple of weeks ago, we went out and visited Camp Hihoha. And there was a story about a woman who comes every year. She's in her 80s. And her whole thing about coming to camp is that she gets to have a bath. And I started to cry because I'm like, my bathtub is probably one of my prized possessions. And once a year, she comes to camp so she can have a bath. And it's like the best. It just blows my, I live in such a privileged bubble
Sure.
that, getting myself outside of that bubble, it gives me everything. Like it gives me so much good feels to continue doing what I do and
Yeah.
wanting to do more. And I
Totally.
mean, yeah, it feels good to give back. And I don't think anyone has ever felt bad for giving back.
Yeah, I love that. So I mean, it definitely helps give purpose as well, right? And
For
so we have a
sure.
lot of people that, financially are in a great space,
Yeah.
and when they're able to give back or make a commitment, it gets them up in the morning. It helps them make
Yeah.
those extra calls. It does help them
Mhm.
give them motivation and drive, right? So
Mhm. Yeah.
tap into whatever you need. And
Yeah.
so it's great to hear that um, business-wise, you've benefited from giving back to the charity. And although that's not the purpose, there is a benefit, side benefit. And,
Mhm.
we call that, cause marketing.
Yeah.
And, we've chatted many times about this. And I think that when you are promoting and giving back to a charity, you can connect with other like-minded people that way, right? And that starts to open and also build and foster relationships with potential customers as
Yeah.
well. Not only that, and I think you mentioned it when we talked earlier, it's you're giving awareness to these different charities as well, right?
Yeah.
And so, what types of things are you doing to promote the charities that that you're invested in emotionally or financially, in order to create that awareness?
Well, I think you can tell that it's easy for me to talk about it. So I definitely talk about it, whether I'm sitting at an inspection and the inspector who I often refer, I also met on the board, Brent from North 49. He sat on the board with me from 2016 until last year. Which was another great connection that I made. And during those conversations, my clients get to hear some of the things that we've both been involved in, and we can talk about the charities. And they're like, wow, that's really cool that you do that. On my keychains, one of the things, I should have brought one down here, we have, when you donate to RCF, you get keychains that say, this house supported the Realtors Community Foundation, the sale of this home supported. And so when they get handed the key, this keychain says,
Right.
you've made a difference in the community. And I think that's really cool. I love that, those keychains. I
Right.
think they're so great. We also have riders that you can put underneath your sign that says, I help the community. Now we are phasing that out. And anybody who has some great ideas, we're talking about maybe putting stickers instead, because it's just been challenging with the sign
Sure.
companies. But yeah, just giving that. And then on your signature, underneath my signature on all my emails to my clients, it says, I proudly support the Realtors Community Foundation. And I do get clients that are like, what is that? What is it that you're involved in? And so you get to have conversations around, what's going on in your community, what charities you're super engaged with. And yeah, it's fun. And a lot of times they're like, oh, I love the Terra Center, or oh, I love Jessica Martel, or whatever. And they get really excited about it.
So I can tell kind of just from our conversation that there's been a financial reward, not just an emotional or a community award, of your involvement and your promotion of different charities and giving back. You've built new relationships because of that, and you've grown your business also,
Sure.
because of that,
Yeah.
which wasn't the intent, I think, or the
No.
goal, but it's a terrible, terrible side effect.
Yeah,
To
for sure. I mean, there's been referrals, there's been, um, opportunities to even just like, hey, I'm going away for holidays. Can you help me out? And just those relationships that you're building with fellow realtors.
I
So
love that.
yeah.
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 I think, and one of the biggest things I'd love to, drill home is it's great to be, in our business, we have to self-promote, right? We don't have a storefront. We have to get out there and make connections. It's a contact sport. We need to make contacts. And so like Nicole did, she made contacts in something that she cares about. She
Yeah.
has an interest and obviously a clear passion for, and that's helped her develop as a person and as a business.
Yeah.
And so, if you're getting involved in your community league or joining a sport, giving back to charity, do something that you care about and you're passionate about, and
Mhm.
you'll find and connect with like-minded people, and everybody grows from that. So I just want to thank you very, 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 very much for your time and insights and being a little bit vulnerable there, and just giving us some more, I guess, awareness of what's going on with the Realtors Community Foundation. But no, very much appreciate that. And obviously, if you want to get involved, or have your charity on the radar, please don't hesitate to reach out to Nicole. I know she's always willing to talk about what she's passionate about. So appreciate that very much.
Yeah. My
All right.
pleasure.
Have an amazing day. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you.
Yay.